President Biden says his State of the Union is strong and getting stronger as he addressed the nation from Capitol Hill last night.
Brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world. 15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record, a record. Wages keep going up, inflation keeps coming down.
We want to now bring in our strategists, Gabriella Hoffman and Jessica Earlridge, to break down what happened last night. Good morning to both of you ladies.
Good morning. Great to visit with you.
Well, I want to begin with the key points, takeaways that you all took from last night's address. And Jessica, I'll start with you.
Well, I think from the Democratic standpoint, certainly, we saw a fiery and feisty Joe Biden coming out and doing what he does best, being able to talk for over an hour on all of the policy issues that are affecting Americans, everything from pharmaceutical drugs to the infrastructure, the economy, and also on foreign affairs, what's happening in the Ukraine, what's happening in the Middle East, and around the world, just hitting on every point that is important to voters across the country, including women's right to and access to health care and abortion and everything with IVF. I mean, the immigration issues, it ran the entire gamut, as well as we saw parts of his personality. And then a lot of real doubling down and hitting back at the Trump campaign sort of proactively, and making that comparison and contrast between what his administration has looked like, what the previous administration looked like. And really it was I think, foreshadowing of what we're going to see going forward now through November.
And Gabriella, you are on the other side of this coin. What were the takeaways for you?
I was astonished to see that he was tardy to the State of the Union. That seems a little out of character, regardless if you're a Democrat or Republican president. So that kind of didn't really set the tone and tenor for me positively. And then he was very angry, not very conciliatory. He wasn't offering any unifying kind of words. It felt like a stump speech, which is not what the State of the Union is supposed to be. It's supposed to be something where the different sides can come together, where he could extend an olive branch, but he felt very forceful in that. And with some of the points he touched upon, I will give him this. I'm glad that he conceded and acknowledged the name of Laken Riley, the young woman who was killed by the illegal migrant in Georgia. But outside of that, I was extremely disappointed. He didn't say that his policies were what is contributing and exacerbating inflation. He was pointing to a lot of extreme policy prescriptions he has on energy and conservation, the Civilian Climate Corps, which is a very big kind of government spending program. He talked about net zero, which is not very reassuring to people who are paying high energy costs all over the country, and including here in the DMV. And he was just kind of throwing talking points and feeling, I don't know, a lot more peeved than he could be. And also, he had the bare minimum to come off as not this kind of reputation that he's built as kind of being very sleepy, playing into his age. And I don't think, outside of being supercharged at certain moments, he really reassured the public. And he didn't dispel the reason why his policies are extremely unpopular, largely speaking to a favorable crowd with elected senators and House of Representatives. But outside of this, is this going to boost his numbers? I don't think so. It felt like a very charged kind of union labor speech over something more moderate that could have brought the country together.
Jessica, I want to get your take on something Gabriella just said. She said it felt more like a rally. We know that some of the Democrats yelled and chanted 4 more years as Biden made his way to the podium. What do you make of that?
I think it had more of a tone of a sort of stump speech that he may be giving going forward. But what's interesting historically, generally, the State of the Union does not necessarily move polling on any, since 1978, they've historically looked at it, more than like 1.8 points in favor or negatively for a president. But I think this was really a rallying cry also, in a way, for Joe Biden. It's his last State of the Union during this administration. I think it's really was his chance to sort of say, this is what we've done. This is my plan for the future, and to really get all of the Democrats behind him, whether they be on, the far left or more centric.
All right, Gabriella, we have less than 15 seconds. Real quick, what did you make of the Republican response from Senator Britt?
I thought Senator Britt's response was very effective, and she spoke in a tenor and tone that I thought would relate to a lot of people that Republicans are trying to appeal to, suburban women who may be concerned about high crime, surging energy costs, skyrocketing grocery bills. And I think if Republicans deploy members like her, I think a lot of these independents and undecideds would probably reconsider or consider the Republican Party policies. But I thought she was very effective. One of the more memorable speeches I've heard from a Republican respondent in recent years.
There are definitely strong views on both sides. We know that. And thank you both for sharing yours. We have Gabriella Hoffman as well as Jessica Earlridge. We appreciate it. And I'm sure I will have you on multiple times as we head into now, which is basically the general election. Take care.
Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
All right.